Yeah, 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 yeah. Yo, 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 yo. About to get the dough. Ain't been sleeping on before. Nigga, pop out. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the latest edition of Minds of Mayhem podcast. My guy is back. He was off last week, but he is back again. The man himself, Noah, aka Nova Cargill.
You already know.
Oh Lord.
You already know.
Well, last week was a hoot. I want to thank again my guy Chuck and Tamani for being on the show last week, for being here. I was just discussing with my guy here. We could possibly make them permanent co-hosts because it's always a time with them too. So they'll be, and like I said, they'll be back for the live stream in August for SummerSlam. Also, the update. In July, we will be having a retro watch along where we'll be watching retro matches back in the day from like the 90s and somewhat 80s. We'll have two more new guests coming on because the two new guests I'm going to bring in, they don't really watch wrestling as much. So it's like they only know the old school stuff. So it's only right that we just have a regular watch along and just watch the wrestling matches with us and call it a day. All in all, man, how was your week? Remember, you was off last week, so how's been your week so far?
The week, of course, the heat wave. Hope everybody survived
Yeah.
throughout the heat wave. All that little good stuff. Um, Other than that, man, what a time to be alive. You got yours, I got mine.
Okay, feature.
Yeah, I went there. I went there.
All right, so on the dockets of tonight, as per usual, we're going to talk about the Night of Champions recap. We're going to basically give our analyst towards the entire event that came on yesterday at 1 o'clock. Also, we're going to talk about Cody Rhodes. Is he the greatest comeback story ever in WWE? Also, the new bloodline again, where we have now new members. Well, a newer member basically, which is basically their big little brother, which is hilarious. Also, we're going to close the show out with this month. This month is Men's Mental Awareness Month, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So at the end of the episode, we're going to talk a little bit how we feel and everything. Go about it, how we do it. All right, guys. So as you know, as we get the show started, and now that my guy's back, so we can get the show started with the rundown. As I said, it's been a long week of wrestling, so let's get it started with the first topic. Night of Champions recap. If you didn't watch it yesterday came on at 1 o'clock p.m. Basically over there, I think it was 8 o'clock if I'm not mistaken, over in Saudi. So before we even get started recap, I was afraid it wasn't going to go. Because we just had a situation where our president of the United States decided to bomb Iran, their nuclear sites, and then
Dummy.
Yeah, very dummy, a very big dummy. And then all of a sudden, it was reported that Iran said anybody coming from the U.S. is a target. It was a lie. Then kind of find out they did a whole like peace treaty, all this other stuff. It's been a crazy week in wrestling when it regards to going over to Saudi. So luckily they had the show. Everything was fine. Everybody got back safely. So the first match of the night was the men's King of the Ring finals, where we had Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. And I gotta tell you, this match we saw a different side of Cody. He was more ruthless and everything. He basically gave Randy everything he had. He even like gave moments where Randy was actually like favoring his back a little bit.
Mm.
And all in all, we see who comes out on top. Cody comes out on top. He's the king of the ring this year. He is now headed. He's now on course to be in possibly the main event of SummerSlam, possibly night two, against the WWE champion, which will probably be John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good back and forth between Orton and Cody. It all ended where basically Randy had basically revealed the turnbuckle. Basically, he was gonna hit Cody in the head with it. They went back and forth, but next thing you know, Cody pushed him on his side into the ring post. Next thing you know, Crossroads 1, 2, 3, we out of there. And as Cody was giving his interview, you can see Randy in the background, pissed off. We're going to run, like he's going to run back in there and possibly either RKO Cody or punt him. Because Randy has already said numerous times, I want my, I think he's a 15th, he was trying to go for 15th title reign. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like he don't care what he has to do to get it. And as we all know, a heel Randy Orton is the best Randy Orton. Even when his face is great, either way, but it don't matter. All in all, how did you feel about the match and how did you feel about the outcome? Was it the right call to give it to Cody?
All right. This might be controversial to a lot of Cody Rhodes fans, and of course me. Don't really care. But no. Honestly, I felt like Cody didn't really need it. And the reason why I say that is because like Cody, like we said, Cody has done it all. Cody has done everything that there is to do so far, um, since he's came back, or probably even in his first run. The issue that I had with this is like they've done enough with Cody. Cody's already established, and we probably already know what the end result is going to be since Cody is king of the ring now. But it would have been twice as better if Randy Orton got his, got a shot
His just
at
due
possibly,
again.
yeah, his just due in getting number 15. Like it's only right. I mean, don't get me wrong. You could say like Randy as a performer, he's going to get it, but it's like to even add a layer to it. You look at Randy Orton, you look at John Cena, you look at the two guys who were the faces of the ruthless aggression era. How long? Well, we already know how long John Cena has until he retires, but when we look at Randy Orton, how long do we have until he announces he's about to retire and we don't get number 15?
At this point, I don't think Randy gonna retire. He's still in prime shape, in prime form. So it's like Randy can go for a few more years if he likes. But at the same time, I get you saying it would have been cool to see Randy win King of the Ring because this is basically his second year in a row being in the finals and losing. Only this
Mm-hmm.
time he didn't get. It wasn't a controversial loss. Remember when he
Mm-hmm.
fought Gunther,
Mm-hmm.
it was controversial.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that now this time he got actually pinned both shoulders to the mat. So
Yeah.
it's just that now, like, where do you go now here with Orton? Because we know the end game now is Cody and Cena part two.
Yeah, at
Because
SummerSlam.
only reason why I say Cody was the right person for the win because since losing the belt, the WWE Championship, it's been okay, but it's like, can I think about it? Cena before this match he had against Punk, which we will talk about in the end, he's been
Mm-hmm.
lackluster. I mean, besides the match with Randy at Backlash, since then
Mm-hmm.
it's like Cena is like trying to be this heel, like he be a very cartoonish heel. Granted, it's working for him, but at the same time, it's like, where do we go from here? Because
Right.
you have, I think, what 18 or 17 dates left on your time, and you're done in December. So
Mm-hmm.
we gonna have to pick this up a little bit now. I think they're gonna pick it up now because you know with Randy now possibly going to be go heel. I think he's gonna go heel. I honestly do believe he's gonna go heel.
I see that too.
If he doesn't, it might be Cody that goes heel because it could be a switch. Because Cody, like I said, Cody has never looked this ruthless before in the match.
Mhm.
Cody's like the American Pie guy. He's the guy that does everything the right way. Him being ruthless against his mentor and everything, thought we never saw it like that.
Mhm.
All in all, Cody got the win. He's on, like I said, he's on the course now to get the day championship match against John Cena. That's his main goal as we speak right now. All right, the next match on the card was the Saudi Arabia street fight between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez. All in all, back and forth match. It's basically one of those matches where it's like you're going to get what you're going to get. We know who's going to come out
Mhm.
on top. No pun intended. So it's like Rhea beats Raquel. Now Raquel actually had a little help from Roxanne Perez. Didn't
Mhm.
help out much, but we saw what happened. Next thing you know, we see Rhea hits the riptide off of a table on the turnbuckle. I was scared to death. I'm like, please don't fall. Please don't get hurt. But luckily, nobody got hurt. Nobody got injured. So it's like now, where does Rhea go from here now? That's the question. Because remember, Liv was like the piece that was supposed to bring everything together. Liv is going to be out for a few months now. We wish her a speedy recovery after having her shoulder
Mhm.
dislocated. So she'll be on the shelf, I think they say, like 3 months again, which is kind of sad
Probably.
because she's been on a hell of a run since becoming like the top heel in WWE for women.
Mhm.
So she's going to be out, and now it's like the tag team championships. Raquel's probably going to pass the belt to probably Roxanne, most likely. That's right, they probably go. And now Rhea, where does she go from here now? Because I know a lot of fans. Well, not I can't say all fans, because let's just say the IWC, they can't
Mhm.
stand Rhea when she's a title match, which is dumb. Because it's been reported that the next thing for Rhea is to possibly fight Io again. Because she's never beat Io before, which is true. She had never beaten Io.
That's true.
So I can't get like I said, y'all cannot get upset that the fact that it's possible that Rhea will get another title match against Io when she has never beaten Io.
Mhm.
I can see she beat Io multiple times or something like that and all that stuff. Or it's like, that, but it's like there's no like grudge between them two. Since being in WWE, Io has beaten Rhea on multiple occasions. Not just once, twice. I think even three times
Mhm.
for real. And like I said, that match between Rhea and Raquel, it was a good back and forth match. It was supposed to be a street fight. You thought it would be more, but it was like kind of like mid a little bit. All in all, still a good match. So how just quickly, so how did you feel
Mhm.
about Rhea and Raquel's match?
Um, I'll put it to you like this: between Rhea and Raquel, definitely like a story is there.
Yeah, it
I
is.
feel like they could have it could have went a little deeper than what it did, but I feel like if now don't get me wrong, Night of Champions was a big stage considering King and Queens, King of the Ring, all of that
Hmm.
other stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like if done right, if they was to run it back again, let them have it at Mania. Like Raquel and Rhea, they definitely are no strangers since NXT, and they clashed a little bit on the main roster, even now. But
yeah,
I always thought like Rhea and Raquel were like the two main powerhouses on the Raw side of the women's division, and they could be like that tag team dominant force between the two. But one on one, if they want to like really build the story, take it to Mania. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I can see that. Yeah, think about it. These two came up together in NXT since the early days of Rhea Ripley. Like when
Mm-hmm.
Rhea really was like the blonde streak hair and everything, all that stuff. So
Yep.
she
Yep.
like at that time, this is when Rhea was actually finding her character still.
Mm-hmm.
Even Raquel was still finding her character. So both of them been through the trenches. It's just that now it's like the first match they ever had was a last woman standing match in NXT. Raquel won that match. Since then,
Yep.
Rhea has beaten her straight times. So it's like Rhea, I think,
Mm-hmm.
has beaten her 5 straight times now. So it's like
Yeah.
now it's like Raquel can just worry about the tag team picture with probably Roxanne Perez, like I just said.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it looks, Rhea's in line to probably face Io with because originally I think the plans were supposed to be Io and Liv going against each other.
That would make sense. I mean, that would have been a dope. And on top of that, to go back to the match yesterday, I think the reason why it was so mid. Keep in mind, this is Saudi Arabia we're talking about.
Yeah.
They hold women to like a certain standard, which is why they wear
True, true.
the covered up and all of that other stuff. Like as bad as I know they wanted to do more, they had to respect it. So I can't really knock them
That is
for
true.
it.
That is true.
I can't knock them for it. But like I said, if not Mania, Evolution is coming up.
Yeah,
Why
Evolution will
not?
be here next month.
Yep.
That's gonna be a 3 event weekend. We have Great American NXT's Great American Bash. We have Saturday Night Main Event, and then we have Evolution.
Hmm.
So we'll get to Evolution down the road soon.
Yep.
So next on the docket, it was I believe Sami Zayn versus Karrion Cross. This would be Karrion Cross's first PLE match, and he showed out. He showed out, did what he's supposed to do.
Hmm.
If you follow Karrion on social media, the guy's a great guy. Granted, even though he can be a little psychotic, but he's a great guy. He'll give you good advice. He'll thing is though with his stories and everything, when he talks
Hmm.
about somebody, it goes into fruition and they become like a different person. Like for
Hmm.
instance, for example, remember the New Day?
Yeah.
Remember when Karrion kept getting Xavier's ear and everything, all that stuff? And next thing you know, Xavier became a whole different person. Like he was like, didn't like the fact that Kofi wasn't following his rules, following him a little bit, something like that.
Hmm.
Next thing you know, look what happened. We have Kofi and Woods turn on Big E. Another example, carrying situation with the bloodline. His first time looking at the bloodline when he first came back,
Hmm.
he placed an hourglass in front of the whole bloodline and said tick tock. Since then, what has happened? Everybody that's part of the bloodline is not there no more. Romans, I mean, for example, Jay left, Jimmy left,
Hmm.
Sammy left. Your wives betrayed you. Now you're all alone. Like I said, Karrion Cross, he has his hands in a lot of stuff. But this match
Hmm.
between Karrion and Sammy was great. Of course, Sammy's always gonna be great in the ring. That's a no given. He was the basic the crowd hero of the night.
Hmm.
All in all, I was happy they gave Karrion Cross this moment to have on the PLE because for him to be over the way he is, he has to be on TV more, which he is, but in the ring a lot. Now,
Hmm.
if you put me like in a vignette or like have one like on a mic, it's still perfect either way because the man can talk.
Definitely. Definitely.
You know, who he reminds me of. I don't know why, but he reminds me of a DDP type character. That bravado, that like I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen, what's gonna be like. That's what it reminds me of. I don't know why, but it gives me
I
like
was thinking.
very DDP vibes.
I was thinking more like a Jake the Snake in a way.
That, that, that could be another. That could be another one. All right, I'll give you another one. I'll say 3 people. It's 3 people I say he reminds me of. Like I said,
Hmm.
DDP with like the way
Hmm.
he's like speaking and talking.
Hmm.
Jake, like you said, Jake the Snake. Give you one
Hmm.
more. Raven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember the quote for Raven Evermore, all that stuff in ECW and WCW? That was all him. So it's
hmm
like,
hmm
so all in all, we see Sami Zayn beats Karrion with no problem. Now it's
hmm
like where now only thing is now where does the story go now with both of them? Does Karrion goes back into the shadows, or does he make his point being proven that Sami Zayn is a liar and he's going to like turn on somebody possibly? So where do you
hmm
think they go from here now?
Honestly, put it to you like this: after last night, they have no alternative now but to listen to the WWE universe and get behind Karrion Cross, which they should have done since NXT. Well, since it's call up
Facts,
from NXT,
facts.
and um, I think the main thing that has kind of held Karrion Cross back and it's not Karrion Cross himself. It was these groups that he tried to build, and of course, Authors of Pain release, uh, Paul Eldridge release, so many different aspects of his character. They tried to put him in a mask. That failed. They like we can both sit here and say that Karrion Cross should be world champion. I mean, I don't see why not. But it also depends on it all. I don't want to say character development, but it also depends on the people that you pair this man with to build a rivalry, to build a story. You already have um, Aleister Black on SmackDown.
Yeah,
You got a possibility of a Karrion Cross and Aleister Black, a Karrion Cross. I mean, probably later on down the line, Karrion Cross, Seth Rollins. Um,
like you go
and I
any route.
think
You can
his
go any route with Karrion for real.
yeah, and of course his whole thing with AJ. So it's like they could revisit that a little bit and then try to move him forward in another direction. So from here is just you just look at the aspect of the roster and what could possibly um draw more eyes to the product with Karrion Cross and who you pair him with. That's just my whole thing because his mic skills is there, his in ring work and his ability is there. It's just who can you give him to in order to further push the Karrion Cross train on the right track.
Facts, facts. Like I said, like you say, you gave some names that Karrion Cross can get in the program with.
hmm
Like I would love to see him in a program with possibly Penta.
Oh, for sure.
I would love to see him involved with Seth a little bit too. I think here's the thing. I think with like you talking about the his factions he was a part of.
hmm
The Authors of Pain faction thing was just I think that was just like put together for no reason, and it was like it didn't need to happen. Granted, the Authors of Pain are a good tag team, but without Paul Ellering, the Authors of Pain ain't worth a damn. And to his credit, he tried to make it work. I remember they had a match at WrestleMania.
hmm
It was them versus the Pride, which was at the time it was Lashley, the Street Profits, and BFAB. So all in all, Karrion's gonna be fine. I just hope, like I said, I just hope that they use him more because he's just too good when he talks. Like
hmm
that promo he gave at WrestleMania, that was perfect. It was like gave a story. And
hmm
since then, he's been on main event doing matches, and he's been on Raw backstage, basically being the devil on Sami Zayn's shoulder. You can say,
hmm
but the only thing is now, where do we go from here? Now that's the only thing. All in all,
Exactly.
Sam, like I said, Sammy gets the win. We move on. Sammy's story now has to be continued because Sammy's basically mission now is to be world champion. That's his goal. He's basically the Mick Foley of this generation. If you think about it, he really is. He is this generation's Mick Foley because what did Mick Foley had to do? He had to scratch and claw to get a world championship. Almost had it a few times when he fought The Rock at Survivor Series, but got screwed in that.
Mm-hmm.
Then the infamous match that he beat. Well, let me rephrase that. The
Mm-hmm.
infamous match that was spoiled by WCW when they said tonight episode of Raw's recording, Mick Foley is winning their championship title. And you hear Tony Schiavone say, yeah, that put butts in the seats. And it did. When that happened,
Mm-hmm.
that's when everybody basically turned off WCW and went straight to a recorded episode of Raw just to see Mick Foley finally achieve his moment. What I tell you. So hopefully Sami Zayn gets that moment. All right, so we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna move on. The next match on the card, I believe it was the Queen of the Ring, where we had Jade Cargill versus Asuka. All in all, back and forth match. You can tell it was a match that Jade wanted for a long period of time because she recently posted on her social media said telling Asuka, "Thank you for giving me my dream match." All in all, the new Queen of the Ring is Jade Cargill, and now she's on a course destined to go face Tiffany Stratton possibly at
Mm-hmm.
SummerSlam with a sneaky Naomi in the background with that Money in the Bank briefcase. You know what I found funny though, bro? Naomi has that briefcase, and I hope it don't happen. But what if she
Mm-hmm.
tries to cash in and loses? Do
I
you know? Do you
I'm
know
not
how
gonna
much?
lie to you. I feel that way too.
Do you know how much flack that will get? People will be pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is my
Mm-hmm.
thing. I can see Naomi trying to cash in on whoever, and she gets screwed by Bianca.
I can see that.
Now, will it happen? I don't know. Like I said, it's a thought.
I can
Remember,
definitely see that
remember
happening.
on this show, when we have thoughts, what happens? It
They all come
happens,
true.
right?
We're
So
like
it's
the
like,
Simpsons, folks.
well, not everything we say happens. Because remember, I said I was thinking it was going to be Jay versus Sami in the finals of the King of the Ring. Boy, I was
Oh
wrong.
yeah, yeah,
I was wrong.
yep, yep.
Ball and all, man. BC Jay get the win. How you feel about Jay becoming Queen in the Ring and everything? And Oscar should be fine.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is one of those situations where, and I'm gonna say this specifically for the IWC. You guys have to look at it from a perspective of the veteran and the up and comer. And with Jade, and of course we can sit here and say, "Oh, Jade was undefeated in AEW." Yeah, true, but she wasn't showcased in the way that she's being showcased now.
Very true.
And so, who else better than to like really give her the extra push than Asuka? Because I'm sitting here like, oh, well, you're gonna give Jade Cargill to Asuka in the finals of the Queen of the Ring. Hmm, interesting. Didn't really think that Jade Cargill was gonna win, but in the back of my mind, the other part was okay. Even if she does win, you can honestly say now that she's a little bit more established than what she was already established as. Like you see her being paired up with Naomi and Bianca, but mostly Bianca, and then for her to transition from that to being a singles competitor and like making her own path and into bigger and better things. Um, it's good to see her progress. And if the match with Oscar didn't solidify it, Definitely when she get to SummerSlam and face whoever it may be for the championship, it's definitely going to solidify her even more because will she win? I pray to the good Lord that she does. But if not, we can all say that she deserved that spot and she's still going to be the queen of the ring regardless. But um
Yeah, I get what you're
yeah,
saying.
big ups on Jade Cargill and she's definitely getting better each and every time she steps in the ring.
Yeah, but it's with Jay winning. It was bound to happen because you gotta put Jay in the moment now because she's been a part of WWE since last year when she
Hmm.
debuted in. Well, she already had debuted, but when she had her in-ring debut at the Royal Rumble.
Right.
Since then, she has been a two-time women's tag team champion with Bianca.
Hmm.
She's not, of course, she had the story situation where she got pushed off the ledge into a car with Naomi.
Right.
She had her first WrestleMania win this year against Naomi. She has
Hmm.
had moments where she could have been women's champion multiple times if Naomi didn't get involved. And now she's the queen of the ring. She
Hmm.
now has the golden ticket to possibly dethrone Tiffany Stratton, or if she chooses, maybe Io. But I think the whole route is she's going to choose Tiffany.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
And now it's like it's Jay. Jay needs they had to put Jay in that limelight now because as it stands, you don't really need to put Charlotte in the limelight right now, nor Alexa Bliss. Nia Jackson, she already been in the limelight. She's still gonna be a top heel on SmackDown.
Hmm.
Of course, you got Naomi still. You still got Bianca. You still got Michin. You still got Zelina Vega, who just lost her
Hmm.
title against Julia. Julia as
Yeah,
well
we
too. So it's like,
WWE, y'all owe me a rumble, but we're gonna talk about that later. We're gonna talk about it later.
I mean, granted, when they announced it was going to be Julia versus Selena, I knew what was the outcome was going to come. But at the same time, Zelina needed a better booking with Mike work because was never on the mic.
Yeah,
She was always in the ring, yes, but she never got a chance to talk until like now when she was fighting Julia.
Hmm.
Now they had a great match though on SmackDown, but we knew Julia was going to get that strap either way. We knew she was going to get that belt. All right, so the next match on the docket. We had the United States Championship match between Solo Sokoa and the U.S. champ Jacob Fatu. Battle of the families, basically. Back
Yep,
and
family
forth,
feud.
going forward and everything. Of course, we see JC Mateo comes out, try to interfere. He
Hmm.
does get the rest distraction. Next thing you know, the returning of the ICW Prince, or King, Tungaloa. He came back, had to be on the shelf with an injury he had last year.
Hmm.
He came back, basically was trying to screw Jacob over. That didn't work out. Next thing you know, Jacob takes out both JC and Tonga.
Hmm.
Next thing you know, Jacob goes for the moonsault, does it. Referee wasn't paying attention. Here comes Hikaleo, the younger brother of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. And you heard me right what I just said. The younger brother, the motherfucker is tall as shit.
Hmm.
7 foot tall. Just a monster. Now he's basically the muscle for Solo now. Solo has basically made his own version of the bloodline. And now he has captured his first singles title on the main roster as the US champion. So now it's like, where do you go now with Jacob now? Does he have to get his own crew? Because it's going to be him and Jimmy. If you think about it, they're going to need two more people.
Hmm.
Now, of course, everybody on Twitter, everybody on social media was like, "Yo, this should go get Zilla Fatu to come in here." Here's the thing with Zilla Fatu. I think they're gonna bring him in once his probation is up because he's still on probation.
Hmm.
So I think once they get that up, I think he'll be on WWE soon, sooner or
Hmm.
later. Because you cannot think that Zillified 2 is not worthy of being WWE at all. You cannot think that. For him to get into the business at such an early year,
Hmm.
have the success he's had since being on the Indies. He's been a two-time reality wrestling world champion, a House of Glory crown jewel champion. He's the fourth rope, which is West Side Guns Wrestling Promotion world champion right now. So he's doing his thing right now as an Indies wrestler. But do you think now with Solo now having his first championship, this story between Solo and Jake was not over? It's not over. It's just beginning.
Hmm.
All in all, how do you feel about Solo now being the United States champion?
Well, I think this gives him that other layer of an established character now.
Yes, it does. I agree.
And so don't get me wrong, like everybody has thought like Solo was going to go straight to the WWE Championship at some point. There was a possibility there,
Yeah,
but
it was. He had a match against Cody at SummerSlam last year, so yeah.
right. But I think this is one of those things where, um, again, similar to what I said about who did we just talk about?
Jade,
Thank you. Similar to not even Jade. I'm sorry. Similar to what I said about Karrion Cross.
okay.
Now, now it's like who do you pair with Jacob in order to further solidify his character? But now with Solo as champ, um, who's going to be next to step up? People say it's going to be Jimmy, possibly. People say it's going to be another, LA Knight title shot, probably. Who knows?
I think
But
LA Knight can move on from the US title, to be honest with you. He can move on from that.
that's what I'm thinking. But knowing WWE, never say never, right?
Very true.
Um, but like I said, with Solo finally getting his first main roster championship, it'll be interesting to see where it goes from there. And I hope and pray to the good Lord that he finds a way to stand out, not only just as one of the bloodline members, but um as a Samoan. Because we seen what Jacob Fatu did with the championship, and he's done a phenomenal job with it with the short period that he had it. Um, but now it's like we have not Jacob, Solo as champion. What's he going to do to stand out as United States champion and not be compared to everybody else who's been, champion in the bloodline?
That is true. Very well said. Because like you just said, now it's like Jacob. He has a story now with Solo. Well,
Hmm.
look, like he's going. Like I said, besides Jimmy, he gonna need some more help. But here's my thing: you brought up Jimmy being a opponent for Solo. Jimmy
Hmm.
needs something because since then, Jimmy has had injuries, yes, but I think it's like you're not gonna put the Usos back together anytime soon. Right now, like Jay is skyrocketing on his own by himself with the whole Yeet situation. Then he's a spokesman for Slim Jim.
Hmm.
It's like Jay's doing his own thing. So it's like it's time for Jimmy to get his just due because Jimmy is very entertaining. He can go in the ring. It just like I said, yeah, give him something. Him going against his little brother for U.S. title would make sense. Will it happen? I don't know.
Right.
But all in all, we have a new United States champion in Solo Sokoa. Shout out to Malcolm Muscle Memory. He's a huge Solo Sokoa fan. Of course, you know that's the guy that asks every wrestler, "What's your Waffle House order?"
Mm-hmm.
I ain't been to Waffle House ever, so I don't know. I wouldn't know what Waffle House food to get. And it's one in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah.
I never
I
knew.
gotta go there.
Right. Just go there and try the food, see what's the big hype about. That's all. All right, we got the
Yeah.
one more match, and that was the main event of the show, where we had Punk Life, CM Punk versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. So this is basically John Cena and CM Punk's quote unquote last match against each other, which I
Mm-hmm.
highly doubt, because this situation between Punk and Cena was Cena's best work.
Mm-hmm.
Because before, like I said, John Cena was like on the downslide with his whole heel run. Inserting
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk into this, it made Cena look like a legit heel because the whole pipe bomb situation and everything. And then this past Friday, Punk doing his whole Punk life like imitation of thugonomics.
Mm-hmm.
When that man said, "You're gonna lose a Kendrick because bitch, you're my Drake," I was like, wait a minute. All in all, back and forth. This match was overbooked too. What the hell?
Fly.
Oh. So all in all,
I
I
got his
get with
ass
you,
too.
bro. All in all, back and forth between each other. The match is overbooked because we had, of course, the dog faced Gremlin Jr., aka not Bronson, Braun Breaker, and then we had Bronson Reed come out and
Mm-hmm.
Seth. Seth can look like Kane from 2001.
Mm-hmm.
That damn suit he had with the flames. Then we had Penta come out. Penta is funny as hell. He was supposed to run out there. This man came out there, did his whole like little strut, and then ran. I'm like, bro, you supposed to run. He did the same thing Jeff Hardy did when he debuted in AEW, basically. I'm like, Penta funny as hell. And then Sammy comes out. Next thing you know, we see Sammy, Braun, and Penta fight each other. And then
Mm-hmm.
here, next thing you know, here comes Bronson Reed trying to do the tsunami to John Cena. CM Punk pushes him off the turnbuckle. Next
Mm-hmm.
thing you know, here comes Seth Rollins basically to beat up CM Punk again. Seth Rollins was going to cash in until he was going to cash in. He had Charles Robinson do the infamous WrestleMania 24 run. Next thing you know,
Mm-hmm.
he gets hit stick by John Cena. John Cena told him, "What you trying to do? This thing has everything to do with me." And Seth Rollins said, "This had nothing to do with you." Because you know,
Mm-hmm.
Seth's ultimate goal is basically still not only to be world champion again, but to make sure that CM Punk does not become world champion. That's his goal. He does not want CM Punk as champion. But not knowing Rollins, you still have some situations to go through now. Not only did you basically get involved with this match between Cena and Punk, you just basically cost Punk the championship when John Cena basically, pinned Seth when he pinned CM Punk after Seth giving the curb stomp to CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like Cena still being the weasel that he is as a heel, snuck out, and Cena can move on to his basically next thing, which would be SummerSlam. And now it's like, where does the only thing is now like the story between Punk and Rollins? Where does it go now? And also a reminder, we still have the big dog coming back. Well, I don't even call him big dog no more. The tribal chief and Roman Reigns to be back. He still
Mm-hmm.
has to come back and deal with Seth. Because we haven't seen Roman Reigns since the night after WrestleMania. He's been
Mm-hmm.
MIA.
Yep.
So like where you go from there now? it's like I said, Night of Champions as a whole was a good show. It was a glorified house show. Let's just say that. It
Yeah, pretty much.
was a glorified house show with a few different results. That's all it was.
Yep.
Now, how did you feel about Cena winning the match, and how did you feel about the match overall? Because, like I said, to me, it was overbooked with a lot of people just running in.
It was, and this was my problem with the match overall. Like, don't get me wrong, it's like Cena's retirement thing is like Cena's greatest hits
Yeah,
on his way out the door.
basically,
But I feel like this whole thing between CM Punk and Seth has to come to an end at some point.
I agree.
And I didn't like the result of it for one particular reason. What was the point of Seth hitting Punk when the main objective is for you to be a champ when you could have just let Punk win and then cashed in on him?
That could have been a smart way, but like I said, Seth's situation is he's still obsessed. He's still obsessed with CM Punk. That's the old issue.
Hmm.
Seth has an obsession with CM Punk to where it's like
Hmm.
he's gonna make sure at every cost he gets to screw over Punk to make sure that he doesn't become champion ever in WWE again. That's his main goal. Now with now with the people that he has around him and everything, with the Bronson Reeds, the Braun Breakers, and the Paul Heymans, and it's supposed to
Hmm.
be a fourth person coming soon. I'm hearing, so it's like he has the tools to do it. But this moment right here, Seth got sidetracked, but only at the same time, Cena derailed it. Cena actually kind of saved them thing in a situation where he won't get cashed in. All in all, like we said, right now I think the next route for Rollins and everything it's Punk and Roman. That's his route. That's his next route because, like I said, we haven't seen Roman since the night after WrestleMania. He's been MIA.
Hmm.
So it's like it's
Hmm.
like when we going to see him? When we going to come back? Everything is
Hmm.
being built up basically because we got a whole month until SummerSlam. SummerSlam is the first week of April. So the first week of August, basically. So
Hmm.
we have plenty of time now because we still got Saturday night main event to worry about. We still have Evolution to come up soon. We have so much stuff coming up soon. We'll have time for it.
Hmm.
But overall, the show was good. Like I said, it's a glorified house show. I give it a 7 out of 10
I can agree
for
with
what is
that.
for what it's worth. For what it's worth, because the matches
Hmm.
were not bad. It just that, like I said, we know what kind of show it is. You basically you have a contract with Saudi to put on a show at least like what 3 times a year, at least twice a year. Because you
Hmm.
still got Crown Jewel, I believe. You still got the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is going to be in Riyadh next year. So,
Yep.
but all in all, like I said, it was a good show overall. 7 out of 10.
That's fair.
Yeah. Okay. So that's our first topic. Let's move on to the next one, which is a good one. Is Cody the greatest comeback story since being back in the WWE? Now
Hmm.
I want to read some stuff off that possibly can say that he has become the most decorated wrestler in WWE, possibly in the comeback story wise.
Hmm.
Since being back in WWE, he has held a WWE Championship. He held it for over a year. He main evented 3 straight WrestleManias, back to back to back. He's a back to back Royal Rumble winner,
Hmm.
King of the Ring, Intercontinental Champion a couple times. I think what 4 times I believe or 3 times. He's an 8 time tag team champion in WWE with 3 different versions
Hmm.
of himself. Not only that, look at his outside WWE career. Former Ring of Honor World Champion, former
Mm-hmm.
NWA World Champion, former AEW TNT Champion, and he was also the retired title of the IWGP United States Champion.
Mm-hmm.
So all in all, Cody Rhodes is the most ultimate to me. He's the ultimate greatest comeback story that has been WWE. Because think about it, he was in WWE for a little bit. He has moments early on in his career. Then he was down in the dumps a little bit. He left the company, went out, got his own thing. He became world champion, Ring of Honor, and in NWA as well. He started his own. He started a company overall, basically in AEW. He was never world
Mm-hmm.
champion over there, but he started a company. Left there, came back to WWE in 2022. Since then, he has been kicking ass in WWE. He's basically the quarterback for real.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's the greatest comeback story because if you look at his career in what 2015 and 2016, him being
Mm-hmm.
Stardust was a low light of his career.
Pretty much, yeah.
So for him to leave, couldn't use the Rose name while he was in the Indies. He couldn't use Rose at all. He
Mm-hmm.
was only called Cody. That was it. Nothing else.
All right.
If he was smart, he could have said he could have said Cody Reynolds if he wanted to, because his last name is Reynolds.
I thought he did that once or twice, but
No, he didn't. Never.
wow.
But all in all, we like I said, he to me he's the greatest comeback story out of anybody that ever came back. So it's like for him to have all these accolades since being back and then adding more.
Mm-hmm.
Now the King of the Ring was more, but the only thing he has to do left is win the United States Championship to be a Grand Slam.
Mm-hmm.
Once he does that, hey, Cody Rhodes can retire if he wants to.
For sure.
But in my
For
opinion,
sure.
like I said, he's the greatest comeback story, and he's one of the decorated wrestlers in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel the same way, or do you have a different approach towards it?
Um, you could say it's the greatest comeback. Uh, you could say it's the greatest comeback story. In my humblest opinion, I think it's them correcting, and I'm gonna boldly say it, it's them fixing what Vince messed up with. Because if you think about it, Cody's talent since his first run, even if he was doing the dashing gimmick or he was doing
The broken gimmick,
the broken all of that other stuff, like his talent was there, and he was getting pushed in a direction of not just being intercontinental. Like he was trying to move his way up basically,
right?
and the higher ups, mainly Vince or whoever the case may be, is thought otherwise. So then when you have the opportunity to say, okay, let's do something different, let's pair you with your brother and turn you into a Gold Dust character, I can understand why Cody left. And
Mm-hmm.
if we remember, Cody was fighting to go back into being Cody Rhodes.
Yep, it was.
But I guess they had a different vision for it. They tried to build it in a way where they could meet in the middle and build even much of a character. But his release at the time, even after Dusty's passing, even that at the time, it gave him the tools that he needed to venture out into the indies
Mm-hmm.
and really build that character of the American Nightmare and all that other stuff, which if you think about it was a blessing in disguise, to be honest with
Yeah, very true.
you. And he was able to build AEW, which if you think about it, he's still getting paid for low key. um
Yeah, I can possibly. I don't know because once he left the company, I think he gave all his like EVP royalties and everything to them. So I don't know.
hey, listen. I would have kept it going. I don't care. But
Yeah, but you know how that is.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, like I said, to a degree, it is the greatest comeback story. I just feel as though because it's WWE and how their formula works, he's in that he's closely creeping to that overrated status, in
Mm.
my opinion. And I'm not saying this in a bad way and say that Cody himself is overrated, but think of all right, put it to you like this. Cody is now in the conversation of a John Cena, of a
Mm.
Roman Reigns,
Okay.
of a Rock, and of a Austin. He's amongst those top tier names in the Mount Rushmore of WWE, so to speak,
Mm.
that it's more equity being put into him, even if he was to say, "Hey guys, I'm ready to retire." He's been around, but even if he chooses to retire right now, the equity in Cody Rhodes is still going to be there. And so, with that being said, from undesirable to undeniable, that ain't a catchphrase. That's real life written itself. Like
Yeah.
that. Like I said, it's. I'm glad to see he's getting the flowers that he was long overdue. At the same time, it's like we're seeing something that we already knew was there. We just didn't think it would flourish like this.
True. True. Very true. Um, I know you said the overrated situation with Cody. You're like I said, it's a person that I follow on X where
Hmm.
it's like they're Roman fans. I just said they're Roman fans. So it's
Hmm.
like any chance they can get, they will troll the hell out of Cody, saying Cody was getting force fed, he's getting padded. I'm like, they gotta realize something. When you're the face of the company, this happens. Happened to Roman. Roman was the face of the company, and think about it. He held the championship hostage for 4 years. Wasn't
Hmm.
on wasn't on the road as much every week like everybody else was. So for Cody to have the title for a whole year where he didn't miss nothing, maybe missed like a few, maybe like missed like one, maybe like what, 1 or 2 or 3 weeks since being champion in WWE. He was always there. Now, granted, if we look at the back in the day wrestling, the champion does not have to
Hmm.
beat her every week. But Cody being Cody, he wanted to beat her every week. I just think a lot of fans
Hmm.
were like so like hooked on Roman being champion, they just don't want to give Cody his just due. And when Cody beat Roman at WrestleMania 40, of course he's going to catch flack either way. Cause some of them still say his title reign was lame. I'm like, it wasn't. He had great matches with a lot of people. He told a lot of stories. His greatest rival was actually Kevin Owens. To be honest with you, when he won the title, that was his
Hmm.
greatest opponent was Kevin Owens.
Yep.
Of course,
Yep.
he had Logan Paul, he had Solo, he had
Hmm.
multiple people. He had a lot of people. So it's
Hmm.
like, hey, what can you do? All I know, like I said, to me, it's the greatest comeback slash decorated superstar since the modern era. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, so we did have another topic we was gonna talk about, but we kind of like covered it in our Night of Champions recap with the Bloodline. Now with being JC Mateo, Solo, Tungaloa, and Hikuleo, and possibly return and soon to be returning Tamatunga.
Hmm.
So it's like we'll get into new Bloodline probably following week, next week probably most likely. So we're gonna close. So as I said, this month is men's mental health awareness month. This is basically, the month that we, can talk about what's going on with our lives and everything, how we feeling, what's going on, like it's something affecting us mentally.
Hmm.
And I feel as though us being boys, we've been friends since third grade. And we always
Hmm.
talk with each other. I feel as though since we talk about men's mental health, I dub the question to ask you: how has your mental health been so far?
Um, I honestly, I've been experiencing a lot of. I gotta take the shades off for this one. A lot of like introversion, as far as like work, home, just being to myself. Like I've dealt with this for a while. Um, and for those who like don't know the story, my guy knows, of course. Like I lost my dad when I was 7 years old,
Hmm.
and um, I tell people all the time, I like ever since then, I've lost a piece of me because I don't go out as much as I used to. I don't hang around people as much as as much as I used to because I've always been myself, not just as a kid, but as an adult too. So like people will say, "Oh, you got to get out more." Yeah, that's all well and good, but it's like I don't have the mental capacity to deal with, large gatherings of people. Like I don't like to be around places that I'm not comfortable being around, and it's not to say that, there's bad people, you know, everywhere. Is just a me thing, and it's just me protecting my sanity, protecting my mental awareness, whatever the case may be is. But I could say I could do better with my mental health and try to be open more and try to um talk more and all of that other stuff. But there's also days where it's like as much as you want to talk and as much as you want to reach out to people and say, hey, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm experiencing, you always have that voice in your head is like, stand up and handle it yourself, be
Hmm.
prideful and all that other stuff. But
All right.
you got to fight that in order to really open yourself to whatever it is that can make you a better person. And like we always, joke with our other friends,
Yeah.
about situations that we're going through, or we, ask
Yeah.
each other,
Yeah. Of
yo,
course. Of
how do I
course.
go, yeah, how do I go about doing X, Y, and Z. And it's always refreshing, but at the same time it's like, as much as people have your back, and as much as that people will never steer you in the wrong direction, you always feel like, well, maybe if I do this, it could still lead to what they were telling me.
All
And
right.
so, like I said, for me, I've been a lot to myself and a lot to like focus on what I can do better as a person and what I can do better as not just a friend, but a brother, an uncle, a godfather, or whatever the case may be, is family member. Like, what can I do better for me to also help others around me and not make them feel uncomfortable to talk to me. So that's what I've been doing as far as like mental health is concerned.
Okay. Like I said, me and you been boys since third grade, so I know the whole story. I know everything. I mean, you
Mm,
got to think about it. We became good friends through wrestling, so it's like Of course, we got our other friend too, Terrell. He's also friend. Me and him been friends since kindergarten, so we still keep in contact.
hmm
My mental health. I mean, I had some good days and bad days. It's some good days where it's like I'm happy that I'm working. I have money. I'm I'm stable where I'm at a little bit.
hmm
I'm back in the church and everything, so it's like I'm doing well. Then there's some other days where it's moments where it's like, am I doing what I'm supposed to do on this earth?
hmm
And also the hindering, of course, losing my mother and everything too. So it's like that can be a hinder as well. So it still grieves me to this day that I never got a chance to get a degree from my mom. That's the biggest
Mhm.
thing that I regret till this day. Now, granted, when I was in school and everything, I had multiple hurdles to get that degree. After the last
Mhm.
hurdle, I gave up basically. I would say, I'm done, I'm out. I can't keep doing this.
Mhm.
And my mom, she was my biggest supporter. And to lose that kind of supporter will hinder you. And it's like now it's like every day it's like I wake up. Of course I'm happy to still be breathing. That's the main thing.
Mhm.
Happy to still be breathing, happy to still see life. It's
Mhm.
just that not waking up hearing have a good day from your mom, that could like hurt you a little bit. That was like a piece of my heart that was gone. And I know when we have now this men's mental health awareness, when we talk about this kind of stuff, of course, they say men ain't supposed to be emotional, men ain't supposed to show all this. Men
Mhm.
can cry. It don't matter. It's that macho bullshit don't need to be having all the time. I have
Mhm.
cried multiple times. I can say a little bit this year, where it's like I can cry and say I miss my mother, or I can cry and say I miss my grandparents, or it's like I can
Mhm.
cry and say I need to do something more with my life.
Mhm.
Cause I don't have my own spot. I live with my aunt and my cousin, who's like my brother. I mean, I'm stable where I'm at, but granted, I do wish I could have my own spot. I'm
Mhm.
working now, but at the same time, it's like I can be destined for more. Like I know I can be destined for more. But like I said, like I said, this year has been a good year for me a little bit. Like I said, I got
Mhm.
back into the church. I've been out of church for a long period of time. I left the church I was born in because it's been a lot. Once my
Mhm.
grandparents, my mom left, I was like, yeah, I gotta go. And I finally got back into the church. Luckily, I have a saxophone now. I'm back into music again, which I'm doing.
Mhm.
So it's like my mental health, it's there. It's get going back into the trajectory of being good. Like I said, of course I'm gonna miss my mom all the time, but at the same time, it's like she wouldn't want me to be hindering like her not being here. She want me to keep moving forward, as she always says, and keep moving on with your life. Like
Mhm.
she said, you're not a failure. You're the next big thing is all gonna come your way, which I believe it will. The year's not over yet. Who knows? Something that might big might happen to me. Who knows? You never know. But yeah, is there any guy out here watching this? It's okay to
Mhm.
speak on what's on your mind. Do not be afraid to speak what's on your mind because if I say something, I'm gonna feel like I'm less manly. That's bullshit. It's some guys out here that had the bravado where it's like if they speak their feelings or speak their piece, they feel like they're gonna be basically they feel like they're gonna be like cast away or talked about. No, I remember there was a
Mhm.
video of Macho Man. He was on Arsenio Hall. Arsenio asked him, "Do Macho Man cry?" And he said, "Yeah, I've cried a few times. It doesn't mean I'm a more or less of a man." So it's like, cause also, even though sorry to get derailed, reason why I wanted to do this because it was a video on TikTok where this woman who happens to be black
Mhm.
had a whole video saying "fuck men's mental health awareness month." She was basically bashing the whole situation, bashing it, saying like men don't have no feelings. They shouldn't be doing all this. If they feel as though they have something to do, they will tell you. I'm
Mhm.
like, huh? In that moment, I was pissed off because it's like, who are you to say that? Oh, I shouldn't have feelings to talk about how I feel or just open up to somebody. You can't do that. So for this month, even though this month it was a lot of stuff for this month. You had Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. You also had Pride Month this month. Tomorrow is basically the last day for everything, basically.
Mhm.
So, like I said, if any man out there is dealing with something and they want to talk about it, find somebody to talk to about it. Talk to it with your family, with your brothers, your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Don't matter. Talk to somebody about it because it's always going to be an ear with somebody. I don't care who it is. There will be that one person listening to you, and they'll tell you like how they'll feel, what they can help you out with, or what they can guide you towards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's that. All right, man. So we're gonna go and close the show out a little bit. Um, like I said, this show is doing well so far. Like I said, last week was a great episode with Chuck and Tamani. We'll have them back on for the live stream. Also, in the beginning of the show, like I said, next month we will be having a retro watch along where we have special guests. The special two special guests come on the show, and we will be rewatching classical matches from the past in the '90s and possibly the '80s as well. Also, keep in mind we are still doing the live stream for SummerSlam, 2 nights.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also, we will have sooner or later we're gonna have another Minds of Mayhem award show soon coming down the line because it's coming down the line soon. So we're gonna have some nominees announcing soon. So keep posted on that. Also, guys, follow the Discord. We're always open to have more people in the Discord to talk about wrestling or whatever. Even if you don't watch the product today, if you watch the product
Mm-hmm.
from back in the day, like from the '80s, the '90s, the mid 2000s, early 2000s, whatever, you're more than welcome to join the Discord. I'll put the link in the Discord in the description box. Also, you can follow both of us on Instagram at both of our handles right here. Mine's being fat though underscore hawk 54. My guy over here being at Nova underscore chatter 32. So it's like we're here. Like I said, we're here. Also, I put a shot out on X. I'm trying to get an actual wrestler to come on here and interview one time at least. Cause I would love to interview an actual wrestler that's on like either TV or any scene. Cause you know
Mm-hmm.
the wrestler named Shane Taylor.
That sounds familiar.
Look him up. He was in Ring of Honor and everything and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I have spoken to him a few times on X, like like as like a quick like conversation, sort of like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I put out a post saying one day I'm gonna have Shane Taylor on my podcast. He liked my message. So if I can get him on the show, I would love it just to talk to him, talk about his wrestling career path, what's next for him, like what got him started in the wrestling and everything. His famous rivalry was with Keith Lee. So it's like I would love to answer questions about everything with him going on. Like I said, this podcast is keep going. Like we still keep doing it. This is still season 2, so we still got a few more episodes to go.
Yep.
And like I said, and then we'll take a break again, and they'll come up for season 3. There will be a season 3. Yes, there will.
Yep.
We're not
Yep.
canceled.
Nope.
Thank God. All right, guys. So we're gonna close out. So please like, subscribe, share, hit that little bell, hit the like button. Please keep it going because we do this for y'all. We do this wrestling thing for y'all. We talk about wrestling. We talk about everything going on and everything. And as you see today, we talk about some real life stuff, situations going on with our mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So all in all, guys. So have a good night. We will see y'all next week, same time at 9 p.m. Have a good night.